Welcome everybody to the premiere edition of the Geetar Rob channel. This first edition of Geetar Rob is brought to you by the chord A. A is a great chord. I will tell you that some of the best guitar players in the world play A. Learn it, play it, enjoy it. Welcome. Premiere edition of Geetar Rob. Glad you're with me for the celebration of this wonderful, I hope to be experience for everybody. This is the guitar channel for the rest of us. You don't have to be a shredder, virtuoso. You don't have to be a rock star. This is a channel for just folks that just like to play the guitar. Maybe you jam with friends. Maybe you just sit out in the backyard and enjoy the nice spring weather and strum your guitar, or play at or at a family gathering. But it's just fun to play the guitar, and that's what this is about. Now, let me get started here by telling you that this is my first endeavor in this kind of thing, so I want to tell you how I do what I do, not so much why what I do, but the intros and the outros you see, or you will hear coming into the each episode. You hear some music coming in, going out. That's stuff I create on the fly. I record it on a software in Apple called GarageBand. Very inexpensive. I think the full edition of this was $9, and I run it on my Mac there. And then after I record the music, I import it into OBS Studio, where I make these videos, and also, I haven't live streamed yet, but that's where I create the videos you see here. And learning experience, but I've enjoyed tackling a new challenge and learning some new stuff, and hopefully becoming able to share some of my knowledge with y'all. I learned this by watching others. There are lots of guitar channels, and I encourage you, and I will give shout-outs time to time to guitar channels I think would deserve your attention. As you know, in the past year, there's a lot of musicians have been out of work because they can't have concerts and stuff like that. So this is a great place for them to make some extra money, put beans on the table. And as I recommend those to you, I hope you take a look at them and give them some of your attention. Some of the stuff I learned from watching them, and have good and bad examples. I decided it'd be a really good thing in making these videos to make sure the studio is looks pretty good, neat, orderly, and also I think that helps with your video quality. Looks pretty good in comparison, I think. Anyway, so you can learn about that. Another thing that you will find out on these YouTube videos starting out, they only give you 15 minutes. So I only have 15 minutes to do this kickoff episode. I don't know down the road what kind of credibility or audience you have to get to longer, because there are longer ones, but for now, the last time I tried to upload one over 15 minutes, they kicked me off. So I'll try to keep it under 15 minutes. Another thing they ask you on these other guitar channels, quite subtly sometimes, is they want you to subscribe and ring the bell and give them a like, and all that helps the channel to grow and get. I'm not really looking to monetize, but it's a good thing to be able to notify people or warn people when I put up a new video, and subscribing does that. And also ringing the bell. Bell will notify you when that happens. So anyway, if you want to do that, I appreciate that. Otherwise, this channel is just about guitar playing, and I hope to give you some world-class advice on guitar and guitar playing, and help you along your journey to the heady world of guitar-generated noise. Why guitar? Why did I learn guitar? I don't know. I think I was kind of my father liked classical flamenco music, and he looked at me sitting over in the corner one day and said, "You're going to learn how to play guitar." So he bought a family guitar, and I took lessons from the time I was about 14 till I was about 18 or 19, and then I got in the rock scene, and I wanted to do that instead of classical. Then I got out of it for almost 40 years, and then I got back into it thanks to opportunities through friends and actually my local church. So I got back into it, and I'm glad I did. It's really added to my life, especially after I retired. It really gives you something to do to keep yourself sharp there. So I recommend that. Now, not everybody's a musician, but I think all people from our species, I think we're all artists in some way. And I think art is just who we are and how we've either been created or evolved. If you look at the natural world around you, it is just art from horizon to horizon. And it is an art of visual art, and it is arts of sound, and you can see it, you can hear it in the breeze in the trees, the birds chirping, the water trickling down a brook. It's just an amazing world that we live in, and art makes it very enriching for us. And I think art's a great thing because we may not like each other for personality or politics or whatever, but we like each other for music and for art, and so that's something to think about. What art you get into, that's up to you. You can paint, you can sculpt, you can design buildings, you can do interior decorating. It's all art, but you all do it whether you realize it or not. Even guys who build buildings and nail boards together, construction workers, they're artists. So, if you choose music for your art instead of another kind, you choose what kind of instrument you want to do, and that's taste too. Now, you may choose string instruments, wind instruments, percussion. That's all art, and everybody has their own aptitude. Over there, you see, there's one of the options is to get into keyboards. Some houses don't have room for a big piano or an organ. You can get a little keyboard, electronic keyboard. Maybe you would like a string instrument or a wind instrument. It is all up to your motive, first liking music and then wanting to learn to play music. Some people's motive is just, hey, I want to be cool. And guitar is a really sexy thing to learn, so that's really cool. Nothing wrong with that. Some people want a wind instrument. The downside to that is that you don't always, well, you know, playing the guitar, people might say to you, "Hey, come over to my party Saturday night. Could you bring your guitar? That'd be really cool." And so you do that. You don't see it very often where people say, "Hey, we're going to have a party Saturday night. Why don't you come on over? Hey, could you bring your tuba?" I like tubas. They sound good in marching bands, but they're not real popular as far as parties and stuff like that. Nothing bad about tuba. Tuba and basses are awesome instruments. They really put a good beat and rhythm to the music. So you choose a guitar, I guess. That's a good choice. The things that I want to talk to you about making that choice is that there are some aspects. Whoops, let me go back here. There are some aspects to choosing a guitar here that you need to kind of consider or be aware of before you get into it. Number one, well, there's two things. Let's talk about the psychological aspects to learning any instrument, including guitar, and there's physical aspects. These demands that can put on your body both psychologically and physically if you want to follow through and really learn and master the instrument. One of the things that you need to think about as far as the physical aspects of playing a guitar is you got to cut your fingernails and just get you. There's a lot of women say, "Oh, I will not cut my fingernails to learn how to play a guitar. And I'm telling you, you're going to have to. You can't play a guitar with long fingernails. You got to cut them on down to the nub. And that's just something you have to get used to. Another thing you will find out physically about playing guitar is when you first do it and press down on the strings, that may be nylon, they may be steel strings, but they're going to be stretched to a really high tension. And to hold them down firm enough with enough pressure to make a note, you're going to find out, yeah, it hurts and it mashes your fingers because you've got these tender little fingers and you're mashing down these strings. Don't worry about that, and just to let you know that that will change over time. You'll get less affected by that because your fingers are going to change. The trauma to your fingers will cause them to do really two things. They'll build calluses on the tips, and the tissue at the end of your finger will thicken. And it's hard for me to show on here, but the tissue at the end of my left hand fingers is actually thicker than on my right hand because I mashed those strings down. It's just part of it. The other physical part of it is, of course, cramping. Your hands are cramped when you first start it, and when you first start playing guitar, you're going to notice that you really squeeze hard, and you don't have to. It will take time for you to learn just how hard you have to hold down the strings to make the notes and the sounds you want to make. The psychological aspects you've got to understand is it's not easy to learn. It doesn't come quick to everybody, and it can be frustrating. You have to have some discipline that you apply to it. You have to be patient with yourself. Give yourself time. Reward yourself for when you make an advancement. And you're making advancements when you sit down and first try to learn. So I would tell you to be patient. It'll come to you after a while. Also, one of the great things I can tell you about that is get a really, really good instructor. Learning off the internet, you may see how to do it and why to do it. Having somebody in the room with you there to really give you the techniques and what it takes to play guitar, and they will tell you you're doing it wrong, you're doing it right. And physically having somebody there that knows how to instruct, not only do they have to know guitar, they have to know how to instruct, and I think that's really important. So try to find a great guitar teacher when you first get into this. Understand that buying a guitar is pretty much like buying a hamster. You have to get stuff to go with it. When you buy a hamster, you just don't get the hamster. You get a cage, you get food, you get a little wheel for them to run on all night and keep you awake, and you have a water dish and all this stuff. When you buy a guitar, there is stuff that goes with it. And these little accessories, as they're called, are kind of important to playing your guitar at some point in your journey of guitardom. You'll notice we have guitar picks there, those that you pluck the strings with. That saves your thumb from getting worn out and gives you crisper, cleaner tones. You'll see a tuner there, a little electronic gadget you put on it to make sure your E string is an E and your B string is a B, and so on. And those are essential to learn to play the guitar, because if it's not tuned right, it's not going to sound right. The other thing in there is a capo. You may not need one of those to start off, but if you can stay with acoustic, all the acoustic players I know have a capo to change the keys and do some fun, creative things with. Another thing to think about is a strap, so it doesn't fall on the floor when you're holding it. Spare strings when you break one or change them. A guitar case is really important if you're going to travel with your guitar or store your guitar. It keeps it clean. It keeps it from getting knocked over, sat on, scratched, and so think about that. Also, think about a tuner, the little winder that helps you tune your guitars. Think about looking at a guitar stand, and think about a great hat. Yes, you're going to need a great hat. All the great guitar players have a really cool hat. So, that's what I have to say for this first edition. I hope that you'll come back soon, and we're going to go ahead and roll those credits And if I can find them, where are they? Here we go. See you next time.